Now, the metropolitan area has the largest Jewish population outside of Israel, so it's not surprising the strike on Iran became topic number one for the mayor and the Democrats who want to replace him. They were out today on the last day of early voting, and so was political reporter Marsha Kramer.
Will Zohran Mamdani activate Iranian sleeper cells in New York City?
She's here with that part of the story.
Well, Dick, as a matter of fact, it's not unexpected that Iran was top of mind. What was surprising was that the warning from Mayor Adams and others that the decision to bomb Iran could have had repercussions here, nearly 6,400 miles away in New York.
You're always concerned about sleeper cells. We're going to ensure that we focus on sleeper cells.
Mayor Adams taking seriously warnings from Washington that Iran could activate sleeper cells here to seek retribution for the bombings. Rebecca Weiner, NYPD Commissioner of Intelligence and Counterterrorism, tells CBS News New York her agency has been on alert for days.
We are doubling down on our efforts. We are doubling down on reaching out to partners internationally, federally, doubling down on all of the monitoring that we are doing.
This as the bombing became topic A on the campaign trail for those seeking to win the Democratic mayoral primary. Former Governor Andrew Cuomo also warning that something could happen here.
As a New Yorker, my natural instinct, former governor, former HUD secretary, New York should get ready for possible reprisal by Iran.
Cuomo, like...
Yeah, and you know, they're telling me, I got my sources, and they're telling me that the sleeper cells were activated by the code, globalized the Intifada. I didn't want to tell you this. It gives me no joy to tell you, but it does feel to me.
You don't want to achieve regime.
Like Zohran Mamdani might have activated the sleeper cells.
Many of the other candidates took issue with the president ordering the attack on Iran without consulting Congress. While you don't support the fact...
They're calling it the summer of jihad.
Way President Trump actually bombed Iran. Do you support the end result that they got rid of the nuclear reactors?
I think the world is a safer place
without Zohran Mamdani. The world is a safer place without Zohran Mamdani. Kind of sounds close to al-Baghdadi.
Out Iran having nuclear weapons, yes.
Zohran Mamdani, who has faced charges he is insufficiently supportive of the Jewish state, said of Trump's actions, quote, "Today's unconstitutional military action represents a new dark chapter in his endless series of betrayals that now threaten to plunge the world deeper into chaos. In a city as global as ours,
insufficiently in favor of the Jewish state.
The impacts of war are deeply felt here."
Deeply troubling. I mean, unconstitutional. It's going to escalate the risks of...
Has someone figured out why Brad Lander talks like this? Look, I don't have as much smoke for this dude because I do think he's like, I mean, he's definitely a liberal Zionist, but I don't think he's that bad of a person, regardless of that very deep character flaw, ideological flaw. But he just sounds like a theater kid. Like every time he talks, he's got like the Jeff Goldblum cadence. I don't get it. It's like kind of like Jeff Goldblum, but also kind of like Christopher Walken almost. Obviously, he doesn't sound like Christopher Walken at all, but like the voice inflections remind me of that. You know what I mean? Like the pauses and like where his voice picks up.
War and violence and death for Iranians, for Israel.
It always sounds like he's asking a question.
Israelis and for Americans.
Very concerned that this president has undergone a military strike without authorization of Congress.
Now, the mayor says that at this time there are no credible threats, but that he wants his deputy commissioner to be proactive, not reactive. This as the primary is just 2 days away, and the candidates had full slates of appearances to get their voters to the polls. Early voting has been robust, but it will all come down to turnout on Tuesday.
And when we talk about turnout, Marsha, we always say, well, it's going to rain, it's not going to rain, but this is going to be different. It's going to be very hot. We understand Andrew Cuomo has been raising the issue of whether the city's prepared or not.
Well, you know, this is a real concern because heat can keep people away, or they could, you know, waiting in long lines is not difficult. So interestingly enough, Governor Hochul, and I'm not saying she responded to Andrew Cuomo, but what she did do is she signed a law this week that will allow people to be given water and refreshments when they're at the polling place. Now, the interesting thing is there's a law that was repealed that said it would be illegal to give people small.
That's electioneering. Don't do it. They're pulling out all the stops. Let the olds suffer on the lines if they want to fucking vote for Andrew Cuomo. I'm anti-democracy. I'm anti-democratic process. I'm coming out against democracy. This is a war on democracy. I'm on the side against the democratic forces.
Items of value.
Regardless of their sovereignty, I personally like the idea that our enemies are set back from their ability to hit the U.S. with a nuke. I'd like to hear your thoughts. Yeah, our enemies, first of all, are not actually our fucking enemies. Why the fuck is Iran your enemy? Who decides this? Okay, why? Why is Iran our enemy? That's number one. Number two, you know what is actually causing Iran not to be able to hit the United States with any munitions whatsoever? Our fucking geographic proximity. All right? Shut the fuck up.
When they're at a polling place. So now that's done.
I think water should be allowed.
Water is allowed.
Water is allowed. All right, Marcia.
It's a new law.
A new law. Okay, thanks very much. And we have a full voter's guide online, including an explainer on ranked.
That's why it's so funny. These are the same people who are like, North Korea is an imminent threat to America's future and security. It's like, what are you talking about, man? What are you talking about? What are you saying?
In 2017, Zohran Mamdani released a rap track that praised 5 convicted Hamas funders known as the Holy Land Five.
This was... Hey, yo, no fucking way, dude. Ain't no fucking way they're busting out this shit. Oh my Lord. Oh my fucking Lord. This is one of the most egregious injustices in the post 9/11 era. Okay. Oh my God. I cannot believe that they're doing this. The Holy Land Foundation for Relief and Development was a charity tasked with helping the Palestinian population pre 9/11, of course. Okay. And as a consequence of being a charity that was tasked with helping the Palestinian population, their resources and their funds went through Hamas, who at the time was nowhere near as prominent of a fixture in Palestinian politics at all. In 2001, the U.S. government designated the Holy Land Foundation, which was the largest Muslim charity in the country, as a specially designated global terrorist and froze their assets. They fought back. They, of course, failed. A major injustice.
Now he wants to run New York? Mamdani says, look him up. So we did. These 5 men were convicted of funneling over $12 million to Hamas, a U.S. designated terrorist
Nah, that's crazy.
Organization responsible for the murder, rape, and kidnapping of civilians, including Americans. Mamdani sent his love to convicted Hamas funders. Let that sink in. Mamdani says, no wall will make it fall. That's an open door for criminals and chaos. Zohran Mamdani stands with convicted.
This is the Canary Mission. This has 111 views, chatters. What are you talking about? No, it's not satire. It's real. What a severe line of attack. Really fucked up, man. Really fucked up. For the record. Here. Okay. The government indicted the Holy Land Foundation and 7 individuals associated with it, charging them with a conspiracy to provide material support to a foreign terrorist organization, Hamas. Providing material support to Hamas, conspiracy to deal in the property of a specially designated global terrorist group, dealing in the property of Hamas, money laundering, and filing false tax forms. The government never alleged that the Holy Land Foundation gave money to Hamas. Rather, it claimed that Holy Land Foundation gave money to zakat committees in Palestine, which were not on a government list, alleging that they were not legitimate charities, but instead front organizations controlled by Hamas. A federal jury found the Holy Land Foundation, this is immediately post 9/11, a federal jury found Holy Land Foundation and 5 men who work with it guilty of 3 dozen counts related to illegal transfer of millions of dollars to Hamas, money laundering, and tax fraud. This case also raised evidentiary and due process concerns around surveillance and the government's use of an unindicted co-conspirators list. For the record, yeah, here it is. The Holy Land Foundation was implicated in funding terror because they sent aid to Palestine, and Hamas is the de facto governing body. At the time, it wasn't the de facto governing body, for the record. This is even before then. They were simply a party that also had connections to charities, considering that Hamas, in its inception in the 80s, was literally an Islamic charity. okay? And some of the local councils they gave money to were considered to be Hamas fronts by the American government. I wonder how they got this information from, by the way. It seems so strange that Israel, throughout its history, has never let an opportunity go to waste. If you guys recall, I've talked about the terrorist designation, the vague designation of terrorism. Do you want to know where the vague designation of terrorism was first used in a legal setting? Would it shock you if I were to tell you that the Palestine Liberation Fronts and organizations tasked with the liberation of Palestine and Palestinians were the first instances where the American government ever used the term terror and terrorism? Interesting. It's just so interesting that Israel has always been this de facto anti-terrorist, counterterrorism initiative understanders for the American government. Never let a good opportunity go to waste, though, of course. 9/11 happens, Israel immediately is like, you know what we should do? We should pack up these scary Islamic-style charities in America. Yeah, there's literally no way money doesn't go through them in some capacity. The founders were imprisoned for years for doing charity work. This was directly post 9/11. They were made an example so the U.S. could look tough on terror and is widely regarded as a horrific abuse of the law. Maybe Zohran wins an election 2 weeks ago, and maybe Lander or someone would emerge if you had another month ago. Markets of Cuomo back as a 3-1 favorite for now, though, says Nate Silver. Why is he fucking talking about Polymarket? Is this an ad? Is Polymarket still doing like undisclosed advertisements without having people disclose? Well, I mean, what federal regulatory body is ever going to be tasked with dealing with that nowadays? I guess it doesn't really exist. There's no federal regulatory bodies at all. Yeah, I can't believe you'll be party to the recorded history of this mayoral race, probably in a revisionist way. No, I know. Another Polymarket ad going after Zohran Mamdani. Interesting. All systems go. Although, yeah, resurfaced. Yeah, we tracked down where it actually came from. It's this fucking dipshit. Oh, wait, he limited his account. Oh, no. I said centrist Democrats doing exactly what they did to Bernie after they see Zohran's popular momentum weeks after writing a million articles on why the Democrats have lost touch with the youth vote is hilarious. And then that account actually replied to me as well, but I guess he deleted the reply. It was some like centrist liberal account. And he even replied to me, and I replied back. You're desperately trying to smear a popular candidate that could bring back much needed dynamism to a party that's currently repulsive to his own base by crying about the largest progressive voice in a hostile reactionary media environment, repackaging right-wing attacks. You don't want a W. I wish you bullied more centrist accounts on Twitter. It would make the entire website better. This was the person, but they protected their account. Also, I'd rather go after fucking Nazis on Twitter than centrist liberals. I'm gonna be honest. I mean, centrist liberals are fucking annoying too, but I think Nazis are a bigger threat than centrist liberals. I feel like if I spent all this time attacking Democrats on Twitter nonstop, I would low-key be no different than the fucking annoying centrist libs. My smoke sometimes is for them, especially because they are antagonistic to any kind of leftist populist momentum, no matter how organic and no matter how much it would potentially save liberal democracy. The only time I'll offer smoke to silly liberals on Twitter, as opposed to maintaining all of my smoke against the Republican Party, the Nazis, and all those fucking dipshits, is when I see them as a immediate threat to a popular candidate like Zohran. That's why I replied to that centrist liberal account. That's why I haven't even like spent too much time fucking shitting on the abundance agenda. I don't really give a shit. Okay.
Since this is the last show before Election Day, I spoke with New Yorkers about what they're looking for in the next mayor. They're weighing in on your point. Are you planning to vote in the mayor's race?
I always vote.
I don't want to get involved.
I'm not sure at this point.
I don't want to get involved. Brother, it's the fucking mayoral primaries. What do you mean you don't want to get involved? That response was kind of funny. I'm not going to lie. I don't want to get involved with this, whatever this is, okay?
Why not?
I don't know. I haven't made my mind yet.
I don't know, man.
How come?
Couldn't get caught up in the politics.
I don't think so.
How come?
Well, I don't know what the options are.
I think it's important. We'd like to know who is going to run our city.
Why? Because we need to get rid of Eric Adams. It's time. This city needs a change. There's too much crime.
I'm not pleased with the current situation, so I would like it to change.
So we need to vote. Everybody need to vote for change. What we've been having is not the greatest.
Are you planning to vote in the mayor's race?
Sure.
Why?
Why? Probably my wife is going to make me.
That's the best answer today. What are you looking for in the candidate?
Wow. Marsha Kramer beacon of journalistic excellence right here. Fantastic work, Marsha. Thank you.
Thanks for mayor.
Are you planning to vote for the New York mayoral primaries? Yes. Why? What are you doing? Telling them to not vote? What kind of question is that?
Someone will make this city safe.
Keep the city safe and clean.
Somebody who is going to fix public transit.
Experience and clarity.
Somebody's not a criminal. One who's good administrative abilities. And a lot of the candidates.
Everyone seems like I'm jotting these down for fucking Zohran, man. Feels to me like a lot of people are looking for a Zohran style candidate, judging by what they're saying.
States there don't have that right now.
Somebody with good policies, good jobs, good things, you know, helping the people. That's what it's all about.
I'm looking for someone who's honest, has integrity.
Yeah, somebody who can just make things better for us.
I'm looking for someone that I can trust, someone that I think has the best interest of the city.
Oh, Lord, I don't know. I'm just a Democrat.
Anybody but Adams.
How come?
It's a pretty easy question to answer.
Whatever my wife is looking for. Love you, honey.
Who do you think would be the best person to run the city?
Cuomo.
I believe Cuomo, yeah.
Because he has experience running the state. He pulled us through the pandemic. He's a competent man.
I don't know them different, so I really don't.
Okay.
Yeah, but Democrat. I live in Brooklyn.
Mr. Lander.
Because?
Because I think he has integrity and the city needs a change.
Personal bias aside, I can say anybody but Cuomo.
Cuomo was good, but he had so many allegations. Eric Adams, I don't see what he did for us. You understand? And he's everywhere, but in New York to help us. To me, that's the way I feel.
Probably not any of the major candidates. Sadly enough to say.
Why?
I don't know how politics in New York got this way, but it seems to attract a kind of people who may not be running the city soon.
Ugh.
La 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 la, no DMCA.